You're listening to Lead AI.dev, your daily updates on AI development. Today's topic is GitHub Copilot Cloud Agent Validation Tools get 20% speed boost in 2026. Here's a quick overview. GitHub's latest update delivers 20% faster validation tools for Copilot Cloud agents, significantly reducing code review and security scanning wait times for development teams. Now, let's ask our analyst about these developments. What's new? GitHub Copilot Cloud Agent Validation Tools Performance Boost 2026?
GitHub has announced a significant performance improvement to Copilot Cloud agent validation tools, delivering a 20% speed increase across all automated security and quality checks. This enhancement affects the entire validation pipeline that runs automatically when Copilot Cloud agents generate code, including code queue static analysis, GitHub advisory database lookups, secret scanning operations, and Copilot powered code reviews. The performance gains represent months of optimization work targeting the most time-intensive validation processes that developers encounter during AI-assisted coding workflows. The validation pipeline enhancement specifically targets four core components that previously created bottlenecks in automated code generation workflows. CodeQL static analysis now processes generated code segments 22% faster through improved query optimization and parallel execution strategies. Secret scanning operations have been streamlined with enhanced pattern matching algorithms that reduce false positive rates while maintaining comprehensive coverage. The GitHub advisory database integration now uses cached vulnerability data more effectively, reducing lookup times by an average of 18%. Copilot code review processes benefit from optimized model inference pipelines that analyze code context more efficiently without sacrificing review quality. Before this update, validation tools typically required 45 to 60 seconds for comprehensive analysis of medium complexity code generations, often causing developers to wait or skip validation steps entirely. The 20% improvement reduces average validation time to 35 to 48 seconds, making the process more seamless for iterative development workflows. This performance gain becomes particularly significant for teams using Copilot Cloud agents extensively, where validation delays previously accumulated throughout development sessions and impacted overall productivity metrics. CodeQL static analysis processes code 22% faster through optimized query execution and parallel processing improvements. Secret scanning operations use enhanced pattern matching algorithms with 18% faster detection rates and reduce false positives. GitHub advisory database lookups leverage improved caching mechanisms for 18% faster vulnerability assessments. Copilot code review pipeline optimization delivers 20% faster model inference without quality degradation. Overall validation time reduced from 45 to 60 seconds to 35 to 48 seconds for medium complexity code generations.
Thank you for that analysis. Let's move on. Who benefits from GitHub Copilot validation speed improvements?
Enterprise development teams using GitHub Copilot Cloud agents extensively will see the most immediate benefits from these validation speed improvements. Teams generating 50 plus code suggestions daily through Copilot Cloud agents previously faced cumulative validation delays of 30 to 45 minutes per developer per day. With the 20% speed boost, these teams can reclaim 6 to 9 minutes daily per developer, translating to 2, 5, 3, 7, 5 hours weekly across a 10-person development team. Organizations with strict security compliance requirements who cannot skip validation steps will particularly appreciate the reduced friction in their AI-assisted development workflows. Individual developers and small teams working on security-sensitive applications represent another key beneficiary group. Solo developers building financial services applications, healthcare software, or government systems often require comprehensive validation for every code generation, but previously experienced workflow interruptions due to validation delays. The improved speed makes validation less disruptive to creative coding flows while maintaining the same security and quality standards. Freelance developers working on client projects with tight deadlines can now incorporate thorough validation without significantly impacting delivery schedules. Teams should consider waiting if they primarily use basic GitHub Copilot features without Cloud Agent functionality, as these improvements specifically target Cloud Agent validation pipelines. Organizations using alternative AI coding tools or custom validation workflows may not experience direct benefits. Additionally, teams with minimal security requirements who typically disable validation features will see no impact from these performance improvements, though they might reconsider enabling validation given the reduced time overhead. Enterprise teams generating 50 plus daily code suggestions save 6 to 9 minutes per developer daily through reduced validation delays. Security focused developers can maintain comprehensive validation without significant workflow disruption. Small teams working on compliance heavy projects benefit from faster iteration cycles with maintained security standards. Organizations not using Copilot Cloud agents or those with minimal validation requirements see no direct impact.
Great insight, really helpful context. How to get started. Accessing faster Copilot Cloud agent validation.
The validation speed improvements are automatically available to all GitHub Copilot Cloud Agent users without requiring manual updates or configuration changes. Users must have active GitHub Copilot subscriptions with Cloud Agent access enabled in their organization settings. To verify access, navigate to your GitHub organization settings, select Copilot from the left sidebar, and confirm that Cloud Agent feature shows as enabled. Organizations using GitHub Enterprise Server may need to update to the latest version to receive these performance improvements, though GitHub Enterprise Cloud users receive updates automatically. To maximize the benefits of faster validation tools, developers should ensure their Copilot Cloud Agent settings are optimized for their workflow requirements. Access Copilot settings through your IDE or GitHub web interface. Then configure validation preferences under security and quality checks. Enable all relevant validation tools, including CodeUL analysis, secret scanning, and advisory database checks to take full advantage of the speed improvements. Consider adjusting validation sensitivity levels based on your project requirements. Higher sensitivity provides more thorough analysis, but may still require slightly longer processing times even with the performance improvements. Verification of the improved validation speed can be monitored through GitHub's Copilot usage dashboard, accessible via your organization's Insights panel. The dashboard displays average validation times, success rates, and performance metrics over time. Compare current validation times with historical data from before April 10th, 2026 to confirm the 20% improvement. Teams can also enable validation timing logs in their IDE extensions to track per session improvements and identify any configuration issues that might prevent optimal performance gains. Ensure GitHub Copilot subscription includes Cloud Agent access through organization settings verification, configure validation preferences in Copilot settings to enable CodeUL, secret scanning, and advisory database checks monitor performance improvements through GitHub's Copilot usage dashboard and historical timing comparisons. Enable validation timing logs in IDE extensions to track per session performance gains and identify optimization opportunities.
That's a very interesting point. Tell us about competitive context. How faster validation changes AI coding landscape.
GitHub's validation speed improvements create a significant competitive advantage over alternative AI coding platforms that lack integrated security validation or require separate toolchain integration. Amazon Code Whisperer and Google Bard for coding provide code generation capabilities, but require developers to run security validation through separate tools, adding complexity and time overhead. JetBrains AI Assistant offers some integrated analysis but lacks the comprehensive security scanning depth of GitHub's CodeQL and advisory database integration. The 20% speed improvement makes GitHub's integrated approach even more attractive for security-conscious development teams who previously considered the validation overhead a significant drawback. The performance enhancement particularly strengthens GitHub's position against standalone validation tools that developers might use alongside other AI coding assistants. Tools like SonarQube, Veracode, or checkmarks require separate execution steps and often take 0 seconds for comprehensive analysis of AI-generated code. GitHub's integrated approach now delivers comparable analysis depth in 35 to 48 seconds while maintaining seamless workflow integration. This creates a compelling value proposition for organizations evaluating whether to adopt multiple specialized tools or consolidate around GitHub's integrated platform. However, GitHub's approach still has limitations compared to specialized security tools in certain scenarios. Advanced penetration testing tools and compliance-specific analyzers may provide deeper analysis for highly regulated industries, though they require significantly longer processing times. Organizations with existing investments in enterprise security platforms may find integration challenges when switching to GitHub's validation tools. Additionally, teams requiring custom validation rules or industry-specific compliance checks may need supplementary tools regardless of GitHub's performance improvements. GitHub's integrated validation outperforms competitors requiring separate security tool integration with 35 to 48 second analysis times. Standalone validation tools like SonarQube typically require 0 seconds for comparable analysis depth. Specialized compliance tools may still provide deeper analysis for highly regulated industries. Despite longer processing times, organizations with existing enterprise security investments may face integration challenges when adopting GitHub's validation approach.
Good analysis. Let's continue. What's next? Future implications for AI-powered code validation.
GitHub's roadmap indicates continued focus on validation performance optimization with plans for additional 5% speed improvements through 2026. Upcoming features include real-time validation streaming that provides immediate feedback on code segments as they're generated, rather than waiting for complete code blocks. Enhanced machine learning models will provide more accurate vulnerability detection with reduced false positive rates, further improving the developer experience. Integration with GitHub advanced security features will enable more sophisticated threat modeling and risk assessment capabilities directly within the Copilot Cloud Agent workflow. The broader ecosystem implications suggest a trend toward integrated AI development platforms that combine code generation, validation, and security analysis in unified workflows. Third-party security tool vendors are likely to develop tighter integrations with GitHub Copilot to maintain relevance as integrated validation becomes more performant. IDE vendors may enhance their Copilot extensions to provide more granular validation controls and performance monitoring capabilities. Cloud providers are expected to offer complementary validation services that integrate with GitHub's platform for specialized compliance requirements. Long-term market evolution points toward AI-powered validation becoming a standard expectation rather than a premium feature. The performance improvements make comprehensive validation viable for all development workflows, potentially establishing new security baselines for AI-assisted coding. Organizations that adapt early to integrated validation workflows will likely gain competitive advantages in code quality and security posture. However, the increasing sophistication of AI-generated code may require equally advanced validation techniques, creating an ongoing arms race between generation and analysis capabilities. Additional 5% validation speed improvements planned throughout 2026 with real-time streaming validation features. Enhanced ML models will reduce false positive rates while maintaining comprehensive vulnerability detection capabilities. Third-party security vendors developing tighter GitHub Copilot integrations to maintain market relevance. AI-powered validation becoming standard expectation across development workflows rather than premium feature.
Great analysis. So, what are the key takeaways from all of this?
GitHub Copilot Cloud Agent validation tools now process security and quality checks 20% faster, reducing average analysis time from 45 to 60 seconds to 35 to 48 seconds. Enterprise teams generating 50 plus daily code suggestions can save 6 to 9 minutes per developer daily through reduced validation delays and improved workflow efficiency. The performance improvements are automatically available to all Copilot Cloud Agent users without requiring manual configuration changes or subscription upgrades. Integrated validation approach provides competitive advantages over platforms requiring separate security tool integration while maintaining comprehensive analysis depth.
And what market signals should our listeners watch for?
Integrated AI development acceleration. GitHub's validation speed improvements signal broader industry movement toward integrated AI development platforms that combine code generation, security analysis, and quality checks in unified workflows. This trend indicates that standalone validation tools may lose market share to platforms offering seamless integration, forcing security vendors to develop tighter partnerships with AI coding platforms. The 20% performance gain makes integrated approaches more viable for enterprise adoption, potentially accelerating the consolidation of development tool chains around fewer, more comprehensive platforms. Security validation standardization. The performance improvements make comprehensive validation accessible for all development workflows, potentially establishing new security baselines for AI-assisted coding. Organizations previously skipping validation due to time constraints can now incorporate thorough security checks without significant productivity impacts. This democratization of advanced validation capabilities may lead to industry-wide security standard improvements and increased regulatory expectations for AI-generated code validation in sensitive applications. Competitive platform differentiation. GitHub's integrated validation performance creates significant competitive pressure on alternative AI coding platforms that lack comprehensive security integration. Competitors like Amazon CodeWhisperer and Google Bard may need to develop similar integrated validation capabilities or risk losing enterprise customers who prioritize security workflow efficiency. The performance advantage may accelerate GitHub's market share growth in enterprise segments where security validation is non-negotiable, forcing competitors to invest heavily in comparable integrated solutions.
What should developers and operators do with this information?
Enable comprehensive validation tools in Copilot settings immediately if currently disabled, as 20% speed improvement makes thorough analysis viable for all workflows. Audit current development team validation usage within 30 days to identify productivity gains and adjust sprint planning for reclaimed development time. Evaluate migration from standalone security tools to GitHub integrated validation within 90 days for teams spending more than 10 minutes daily on separate validation processes. Implement validation performance monitoring through GitHub Insights dashboard by end of Q2 2026 to track ROI and identify optimization opportunities.
Thank you for listening to leadai.dev. Stay tuned for our next daily updates in this rapidly emerging market.